Pamela Franzwa, and I am with USC School of Social Work. I am clinical field faculty.
All right. Tell me about any of your personal experiences with military-dependent children.
With military-dependent children. I started last year with the School of Social Work, and I was responsible for placing my interns, MSW interns, in the Oceanside School District, and some of the schools were on base, and so my interns worked with students whose parents were in the military. So that's my connection, and from that was an amazing experience, and for the students and for the students they work with, it's hard to distinguish big students and little students. So the MSW interns were just inspired by the kids they were working with, and from there it's expanded out into putting 30 interns, from 8 interns last year in Oceanside to now having 30 interns in school districts around, mostly around military, the military-connected areas.
So I guess one of the questions that's come up during these interviews is, what would be a good way to find out the number of military children and where they are?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think would be a good way to kind of
to do a count?
Yeah.
Some of the districts have really good data, mm-hmm. And then other districts do not, and they are starting to collect data on just parent information forms, checking a box. But I'd say, I'm not exactly sure, but I think about half of the districts pretty much know where who's military in their school. And there's just certain geographic areas that are close to Camp Pendleton and more affordable in San Diego. San Diego's very expensive, and families coming here in the military, they can live on base, and some of those families, there's kids go to school in Oceanside and in Fallbrook, and our students are working directly in those schools. And then other families choose affordable places to live, and we have interns in those districts.
Yeah. What do you think could be, because military children have such an ever-changing life,
mm-hmm.
That could be a constant in the schools, so that no matter what school they go to, there's some kind of constant for them. Mm-hmm. How do you think we could go about doing that?
Well, I think on a policy level, on a school-wide a program or a system where the transition from moving from one school to another can be eased. And I think our interns, I've worked with them to look at, okay, when new kids come in, how can you help them transition into a school? And when they have to leave before the end of the school year's up, how can you help them move on to the next school? But I think as a system, schools need to improve how that works. I know I think I went to 11 different schools before I got to high school. And it was, in some places, it was easier than others. But for the most part, that's a real disruptive experience for kids, and very unsettling. It's kind of like having the rug pulled out from under them. Their world is centered around their school day, and it's tough to go and make new friends. And
since you experienced the moves and the new schools, what is one thing that, if you could, have changed about growing up in that way? I guess, in the school sense.
Mm-hmm. It almost seems like it's, I don't know. I don't know if it's harder. I just moved myself and brought kids and my kids had to change schools, and it almost seems like it's a little more difficult in some ways. I'm not sure exactly how. I think school's gotten more intense, and I know, and just moving from Chicago to California, the classroom size went up by about 10 students per classroom. And I felt that there wasn't a lot of attention given to the new kids coming in, and it was a real, just sort of, you blended into the the background. So I don't know. It seems like it's gotten a little harder.
Yeah.
But I don't have any data on that. So.
Yeah. What do you consider, or what have you found from talking with interns, to be the top priorities when working with military-dependent children?
I would say, they're doing really 3 different things in the school. They're working with individual students, and the priority with those kids at that level is to provide kids support, emotional, social, and behavioral support so that they can concentrate and do well in school. And I think the biggest thing that the students are seeing are kids with an increased level of anxiety and unsettledness. I think connection to school too, feeling connected, and those are the kinds of things individually. And then at the group level, they also work with individuals, and then they can put children in groups, support groups, and I think that they're working with the same kinds of issues, but really having the kids support each other. And then on the school level, to really improve just the overall climate in the school, helping recognize the stress the kids are under. Multiple deployments placing these families under enormous stress, and helping the school recognize that we really need to band together and support these kids who are under a lot more pressure than the other kids. It's just a reality. They are.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder for them.
How do you think the public education has responded to the needs of military-dependent children?
Well, I think this project is really going to look at that. What exactly what is the system doing to support these kids? This is a historic time. We haven't deployed people over and over, and families with young children, young families, have not been under these circumstances before, and I don't think we're exactly sure what we're doing. We're kind of inventing building the airplane while we're flying it. I think there's certainly lots of interest in, okay, what is going on system-wide? What can we do for these families that are facing enormous stress? I don't think you can really understand the true level of stress that these kids are under without. You have to recognize some of these dads and moms are out of the home on and off for, if you add it all up, could add up to a couple years out of their children's life. And it's not just that they're not there, but the children are very concerned about where they are and if they're coming back. It's not like a business trip. They're in war, and it's frightening for children.
What do you hope that these interns will get out of this workshop this weekend?
Well, I hope that it will, they're my job with these interns. I am their teacher, and I'm teaching them how to become social workers. And so what I want for them to get out of this is to really have more tools in their toolbox, and to really be understanding have a greater understanding, a deeper understanding of the situation the kids are in, and some of the strategies that they can incorporate so that they can be of greatest help. So, I want one of my agendas is to have them, as a teacher, have them learn, and then of course to have them implement what they learn in their internships.
Well, that's great. Yeah, this really is a good program.
Yeah.
And long time needed.
Yes. The focus, and it's wonderful that that this time we are putting the focus on the whole family, because it's not just the focus on the service member. It ripples through the family, and that's going to ripple through the community.
Yeah.